You're listening to That Home Loan Hub. I'm Zibuni Salimova, here to make home loans and property investing simple, smart, and stress-free. Let's get you closer to your property dreams. Love is in the house today. I've got Megan Love now with me. I'm so excited. This is cool.
Thank you for inviting me.
This is woman power.
Yeah, definitely.
So, we just did a few episodes with George Love. He's your husband.
Yep.
Lovely man.
Yep.
But I'm more interested in what you got to tell me, because every successful man, we know there is a woman. And you're sitting right in front of me.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think he's figured it out, because you seem very happy to me.
I actually am really happy. Everyone always asks me what it's like to work with George, and it's fun. It's really fun most days.
I mean, we work in one of the most stressful occupations, I must say. There's always crises. There's always people ringing. You're ringing people. There's always something happening, right? What brought you to real estate? So let's step back completely and tell me about what brought you to the real estate. I know George touched on that, but I want to hear your story.
Okay, well, my story probably starts when I was 5 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was never a little girl who dreamed about getting married to a Prince Charming. I mean, I got one anyway, so thank goodness. But at 5 years old, I wanted a house. And I said to my parents, I want to own my own house.
Wow.
And that was when my passion for homes, really, it's not about property and ownership and things like that. It's about having a home of my own and helping other people have homes of their own. And so I got into banking because I wanted to learn about lending. And that's why I really admire what you do for your job. And I'm always saying to people, I was quite good at my job in banking, but I saw a lot of people who, didn't do it out of passion. And they would go to the pub at 5 o'clock on a Friday night, regardless of whether the house had settled or not. And, a good mortgage advisor will possibly go the extra mile and arrange insurance and do all that stuff that makes it so much more enjoyable for the person with the moving truck waiting outside.
Yeah.
So that's where, my background has been loving being at home. I love my home. I want everyone to have a home. Now I'm a mum. I feel that even more. I just want every family to have a safe, warm, dry space for them to live in. So yeah.
I love that. I love when things come from the heart, from the values, but also from, it's really interesting you mentioned the childhood and being 5 years old and having this clear vision of this is what you wanted to achieve. So tell me, are you from New Zealand originally?
Yes, I was born here. We moved homes probably when I was about 4, and we moved down from Auckland where my dad worked we were in an army base, and we moved into our first home down in Whitby. So that was where I kind of became aware of the home that I was living in wasn't the home that I continued to live in. And we've been really lucky in our family. We've always had home ownership. But as I grew older, I realized a lot of people don't have that in New Zealand. And it's just something I feel really passionate about.
I love that. So you had career in the banking. So you also know the other side of, I guess, the real estate of what goes on there and how to make the deals go smoother.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that can also, being in the bank or seeing the other side of what's going on can either kill the deal or make the deal.
Yes, a good advisor, and this is what we say to our buyers all the time, you need to go meet your advisor early. Even if you're thinking about buying in a year's time, please meet the advisor yesterday, because they can give you tips and tricks. And for a while, the banks were saying, if you even buy coffee, that's my little advice. If you buy a coffee, we'll penalize you. So I know a good advisor can give that advice early. They can pick up trends before they become, a news item. Feet on the ground is always more valuable. And then, I just love dealing with women as well. I mean, I love men, but, seeing so much more compassion, caring, and families in high level positions, it makes sense. For a while, I had a female accountant, a female mortgage broker, a female lawyer, and the communication between all of those people just flowed so well. So it was quite exciting. Yeah, I'm happy to deal with men too.
I know, you and I hold on a second. We want to make sure the men also feel the love.
Anyone.
Yeah. I think there is definitely a bit of inequality, right? In New Zealand especially, we see a lot of families where, for instance, men drive all the finances, they know everything, and women are usually stay home, raise the children, and then suddenly they realize that the kids are now off to school and they have no career and they have to start from somewhere. So I think we're just naturally drawn a little bit to help our, I don't want to say the weaker link, but, we do need to lift the representation of professional female, either real estate or advisors or legal, whatever. However, I have seen men on the other side of it as well. I have seen men that also have chosen to stay home, raise the family, or they've trusted fully to their wives to deal with finances. And then when the separations happen, suddenly men are on the weaker side of it. So either way, there's always a party that we need to help. But being in real estate, I want to know. So you followed George, right? He told us about his hairdressing career.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
you were at the bank at the time.
Yep.
And then you guys moved up to carpeting.
Yep.
And then you decided to help him out with real estate.
Yes. So I left financial services where I was doing home lending, and then I had my second child, and I thought, try and be a stay-at-home mum for like a little while because COVID was happening. I got bored, and 2 weeks into her being alive, I started a life coaching business. So I just did it over Zoom. At the time, Zoom was really popular. So just like go downstairs, log on, do my clients, help them usually with career coaching, but a little bit of life coaching too. And then, I could hear the baby crying upstairs, and like towards the end of the hour, I'd be like, okay, it's time to wrap that up. But what it taught me was people don't just want to buy a house. They always want to buy a house because. So there's a reason, like, do you want to be in the school zone? Do you want to have a low maintenance house, but as you're aging, you don't want to be doing weatherboard painting and windowsills and things like that.
Or climbing stairs.
Climbing stairs, yeah. And sometimes, we get a call from somebody who wasn't planning to sell ever, and they've been in hospital unexpectedly and they can't come home. So suddenly they need to move into some kind of care, and their families or themselves are trying to manage that, possibly remotely. And they're like, what do we do with the house? We need to pay for this care. So, excuse me. That can get very emotional. Yeah.
And that's what George and I touched on as well, that, we come in at people's most significant milestones in life, significant challenges in life, where they either excited about just getting married and buying their first home, or they're excited because the family has expanded, or they're feeling the sadness because suddenly someone passed away and they have to let go of a family home that they've had for the last 40 years of their lives. And those moments are very, very emotional, and they're significant. We see it every day, right? We deal with hundreds of clients. But for that particular client, we are the first person they're seeing. We might be the second or the third because the first few didn't work out because they're not as great as us.
True.
But for them, we are the only one they're dealing with. And we're the container for all of their emotions. And that's what I love about you, that in everyone I spoke to about you, that you treat them like a human. They are in front of you, you're in front of them, and you don't treat them like a number.
Yeah. And it's okay if they need to have a wee cry, or if they need to stop a meeting midway through and ask me to come back later, that's fine. If they want to have a support person there, I'd encourage that. So however they need to work, we had a lady that had been going through breast cancer, and she said, I can't do the afternoons. So we just kind of set a cutoff point at 2:00, and we were like, okay, no private viewings, the open home had to be in the morning. And we said, we will never do a meeting or phone you from 2:00. So we tried to work around. We also had a 90-year-old man who had an afternoon nap. And I mean, you just schedule stuff to make it suitable for the person. If they want to have a yoga class in their living room on a Tuesday morning, we won't do viewings then. We need them to have a good life while we are working with them in their home, and their home still has to be a safe space for them. So, I
love that. I absolutely love that. And I think that what makes the difference sometimes between finding the right real estate agent that you want to work with and someone that completely didn't hear you and just calls you at 3:00 as you're trying to have some rest, have a nap, or dealing with children.
Yes.
I remember one time I was trying to sell a house and I had young kids, and I remember telling the real estate agent, look, I do I have kids, it's natural. You do school pickups, kindy drop-offs, whatever. But that real estate agent would always call me at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. It's like, really? Please don't.
They're not going to get hold of you. Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's frustrating not to be heard. And that's like the number one rule of customer service is listen, make notes, and do what the client is asking within reason. I mean, if you have to ring them at 9 o'clock, I'm so sorry I'm ringing you at 9 o'clock, but there is a good reason. Your house is on fire. Maybe. I don't
Your
know.
house is sold.
I don't know. There has to be a good reason though, right?
Yeah.
It can't be like, oh, well, this suits me and this is how I do my work and you have to fit my pattern and my mold. No, we try and adapt ourselves to the person we're dealing with in their situation as much as possible.
I love that. What's your highest takeaway from being in this industry? Like, what's your biggest takeaway apart from molding yourself and working with people?
I think although we mold ourselves to the situation and we provide the customer service that that person needs, we always have to stay true to ourselves as well and be authentic. There are occasionally people that prefer another way of working. That's fine. But if we have to compromise who we are as people, then it's probably not worth it. So like underpinning all of that is our morals and our values. And we keep checking in on ourselves because this industry is huge. It's easy to get carried away. The rewards for doing a good job are massive. And, it's very easy to stand on a stage and go, oh, wow, I'm amazing. But you've got to stay humble as well. And you've got to keep thinking, well, why am I doing this? And ultimately, it's to help people. So that was, when I left school, they were like, what do you want to do with your life? And they were kind of wanting me to name a job. But I've never wanted to do a specific job. My underlying thing is always, I want to help people. If I'm not helping people, then I'm probably in the wrong job. But in this job, you get the chance every single day to help people, even if it's just to recommend a builder or a mortgage advisor that can help them. Yeah.
I love this, and this is something I saved for you. I didn't tell this to George, but this client that you referred to me recently, as I was talking to this client, one thing that she said about you that blew my mind, she was like, Megan has been amazing. She showed us all these different properties, but then, we couldn't buy this one or we weren't interested in this, And then we were interested in this other property that was sold by a completely different agency, not even Harcourt, completely different agency. And Megan was still helping us. And to us, that was someone that's going above and beyond. She's not earning anything out of it, but she's here to help us. And we truly feel that. So as I'm saying, I'm getting like teary-eyed because this is so uncommon in our industry, to be helping someone without having an ulterior motive. But that's just because you want to help people. And I think this is where you and I really align because there's so many situations where, there's so many free hours that we put into this work.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't want to refinance. Sometimes people don't want to buy a house. Sometimes people's plans change, and we just take that hit. We take that cost. But at night I can sleep well thinking, I'm a good person, I've done a good job, and I've helped someone today.
Yeah.
And that feels good because I believe in karma.
Yeah.
Good things will come back. And when I've heard that about you, I was like, this is my person.
Yeah.
I found her.
Yeah. Well, I remember that client and I was joking. She was like, why are you giving me advice about this? And I said, well, you'll sell eventually. I might have to wait 20 years, but you'll sell.
Yeah. And she will remember you. And that's the thing. People will remember,
It was the right thing to do as well. She loved that other house. And I was showing her houses and I was saying, look, I don't think that they tick all your boxes, but I want you to see them anyway. So she would go in knowing, yes, this garden's a little bit small or the deck isn't quite right or, but if she hadn't looked at them, she would have always wondered. And then she told me she'd found this other house and she was still thinking about it. And I was like, go for it. What do you need to make this happen?
I love that.
Yeah.
Because, one thing I always come back to time and time again is people might forget what you said, but people will never forget how you make them feel.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think you guys do an exceptional job at leaving people feeling, don't get emotional on me now, but you do an exceptional job at leaving people feeling amazing and feeling empowered and feeling like they've known a little bit more now than they did before they met you. And I think that's the key to success, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. You can take this glowing reference and post it all over your social media.
I will.
So, Megan, before we wrap it up, what are your hobbies? What do you do?
Well, my hobbies, I always laugh because I knit. So growing up, I was always called a nana. It's quite funny. I've got children now. They haven't had children yet, but one day I will be a nana. And then I can say, yeah, I knit without laughing. But it relaxes me. I love knitting. And I've knitted from a very early age when my mum was pregnant with my younger sister. And I just knit for fun. It's an easy hobby. I've actually got it in my handbag right now because I was like wondering like how this would work if I was going to sit in another room while George was recording. And recently I've just got back into tramping as well. So last year I went for my first tramp as like an adult, not with a school group.
Yeah.
I've got a few friends that are into tramping. So I've just been going and doing some walks outside and that's been amazing. No cell phone reception, no calls, no emails, and just like a day or two in the bush and good company. And some biscuits.
Yeah, it's important, right? It recharges us because although we love what we do so much, it does drain our batteries as well. And we need to recharge them because if we don't recharge them, we're not going to be good humans to help others. So that's so good to hear that you do that for yourselves because as a mum, to two beautiful girls that you are, running a busy household, and I'm sure you do a lot behind the scenes with George, and in your business, I think it's really, really important that you take that time out for yourself.
Yeah, and we've got a few plans for this year as well. Like George hasn't done the escarpment, so I'm planning on doing the escarpment walk with him.
Nice.
Hopefully pretty soon this summer. So we're planning a few outdoorsy type adventures and we want to take the family tramping again because that was really fun when we did that. So yeah, just a whole lot of outdoor activities for us as a couple as well as like as a family.
I love that. Final question, does George do your hair?
No, he doesn't. He used to. I used to sit in the chair and I'd just get whatever haircut he thought would be good on the day.
Okay.
It was great. I just read my book and like it was awesome. He'd just do his thing and then now he's too busy. So I've got a really nice lady that does my hair and then I have to come home and he inspects it.
I hope he approves.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Awesome. Megan, it's been so good to get to know you. Thank you so much. And I hope you become a regular guest as well, giving us updates. And this episode is just more about getting to know who you are. And we're going to dive into the next topic about the real estate stuff.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See ya. And that's a wrap on That Home Loan Hub. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join me next time for more property tips and tricks. Your next smart move starts here.